full minutes of rant. I'll be back before he's done with his rant. That's how long the rant about this fight
No, go ahead, Lee.
All right, here we go. Former world champion Danny Swift Garcia, 34-1. Why do I know? Side note, why do I know? Because he texted most of his rant at me last night. He's got bullet points. Danny Swift Garcia, 34-1, 20 KOs, scored a 9th round knockout over former champion Brandon Bam Bam Rios, who sucks. I don't even need to read his record. 34-4-1 in a WBC welterweight eliminator Saturday night at the Mandalay Bay Event Center for nobody. There was nobody there. I don't even know where they found the people to make it look good for TV.
I do. Lee, you want to know what it was?
What?
One section, it seemed like, of that crowd were the first responders to the shooting over there in Las Vegas in October.
Okay, that's one section.
Dude, Lee, it was not a good scene, though. When they said
we really should have sent Willie over to see if he could just walk in the front door.
Lee, when they said, "Can everyone stand for the first responders? Please stand." That were on the scene that night.
The lower bowl was all first responder.
Crowd stands up at the TV. The TV shot had
smart move. For those of you who don't know, leading up to the fight, this is why you should be on the Facebook page. Mayweather tweeted about the fight. They dropped the prices for the fight. They did everything they could to get bodies in the arena for this fight to make it look good for TV. Feeling at each other out in the early rounds, Garcia boxed as Rios stalked. Garcia began to let his hands loose around 3 as Rios continued to press. Closing the 5th round, Rios and Garcia had a good exchange and both had some words after the bell. So it seemed like it would be an exciting fight. Well, you'd be wrong. That's because Brandon Rios doesn't have a chin. Garcia was sticking and moving past the halfway point. This fight had already gone. Side note: this fight had already gone 5 rounds too many. I'm not sure why Danny didn't knock him out earlier, other than he probably needed work. Rios continued to stalk. In the 8th round, Garcia had a good round jabbing and counterpunching, but in the 9th, Garcia landed full flush right hand on Rios, who has a glass mofo jaw. What else can you say about him? He's got a glass jaw, Andrew. He's always had a glass jaw.
He took about 20,000 right hands off the chin before it finally happened, Lee.
I don't think Danny ever threw it. What
are you talking about? Danny landed. No.
But he didn't. Not the Danny.
He didn't throw the Danny left hook.
Right.
He wasn't. Last night, Danny Garcia tried switching.
Okay, go on your 5-minute rant. I'm going after coffee.
All right. Look, going into the fight, I think, we said that it would be a nominee for Knockout of the Year. It was. Another thing I had predicted was that this fight wouldn't go past 5 rounds, and it did. And I was wrong on that. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give Danny a little bit of leeway because, one, of the ring rust. Obviously, there was rust there when you've taken 9 months off, a year off. However, Garcia was out of the ring since his last fight with Thurman. 2, you clearly seen it look like Danny Garcia was trying to change his style last night. Now, I don't know if that's something Angel is going to want him to do in the future because his first grade on his new style, about a C. He was throwing a lot of lead right hands. He was doing the jab. He was trying to stay behind his jab. When he got on the inside, for some reason, he kept clinching. He reminded me a lot of Floyd Mayweather, Money Mayweather at the end of his career. Trying to pick his shots, pick his points, stay behind a jab. If Rios got too close, immediately clinch and let the referee break it up so you guys could reset. Was not going well for Danny Garcia. I thought Rios was hitting him way too much. I thought Rios was in the fight way too much. This fight wasn't that close. If Danny Garcia is going to be considered top 5 in the welterweight division, what he showed us last night was not worthy of that ranking. But like I said, let's give him one more fight. He had the ring rust. I think he's adapting to a new style, and he has to. People, you can't just rely on one punch your whole career.
Actually, you can. You just have to be skilled at the one punch.
No, I disagree with that totally. Manny Pacquiao had one of the most dominant straight left hands in boxing, could not get to the next level until Freddie Roach taught him the right hook. I don't agree with that. Danny Garcia is learning on the job that you cannot just rely on the left hook, and he's trying to make changes. And because of that, Lee, I'll give him those extra 4 rounds. I'll let him go 9 rounds at Rios. It didn't look good. You've seen Angel pleading with Danny to go back to his left hook. Why are you boxing this guy? Let's get him out of there. And be honest with you, Lee, I agree with Angel last night, because that style that Brandon Rios was bringing, that was picture perfect for the left hook. Now, maybe all the criticism on the internet by all the experts, so-called experts, insiders, kept saying how this was a cherry-picked fight. Danny's going to walk right through him. A left hook should end it early. Maybe that got under Danny's skin, and he wanted to show everyone that his right hand could do the finish. And it was a great right hand. It reminded me. I believe they even said it on the telecast, and they hit it right on the head. It was James Toney versus Prince Charles Williams all over again. The way that Danny Garcia knocked him out and the way Brandon Rios bent over, that was picture perfect. So Danny moving forward, I embrace the new style. He's got a lot of avenues out there. He can pick whatever road he wants. He didn't have that great of a fan base. I got to give that to Rios. The Mexicans looked like they showed up for Brandon Rios in Vegas. Didn't hear too many Puerto Ricans out there, Puerto Rican Americans out there cheering for Danny Garcia. I think they take him back to New York, back to Barclays Center, get him an opponent out there. I wouldn't shoot too high for right now. I think Danny needs to learn, get this new style down, get some of that rust off before they put him in there with the likes of a rematch with Thurman or a Spence showdown here at the end of the year.
There you go. Good assessment, Andrew. I started the coffee. So on the next one, I'll run down. I have one of those Keurig deals. I like my Keurig. Did I say it right? Keurig?
You're asking the wrong guy, dude.
You make what do you have? A Mr. Right. Coffee? Are you a Mr. Coffee guy?
I don't know. I just put it in the filter, put water in it, turn it on, eh?
Oh, boom. No. I have the individual K-Cup deal. I got one of them fancy ones.
I'm not there yet.
Benavidez dominates Gavril in rematch. Showtime undercard. WBC super middleweight champion David Benavidez scored a one-sided unanimous decision over Ronald Gavril, 18-3 with 14 KOs in their rematch Saturday night at the Mandalay Bay that nobody watched. Benavidez boxed behind the jab as Gavril pressed. A right uppercut followed by a left hook staggered Gavril in the 4th round and should have been the end of the fight. And Benavidez stayed on him but couldn't finish him. Benavidez continued his dominance, picking him apart with body shots and followed upstairs, busting his nose. In the championship rounds, Gavril rallied some, but it was too little too late as Benavidez kept his distance and fought conservatively en route to a clear-cut decision. Final scores 120-108, 120-108, and 119-109. Andrew, did you actually watch this car crash?
Oh, yeah. No, listen, I've been telling you guys about David Benavidez. I'm going to run and
get coffee. Go for it.
I've been telling you guys about David Benavidez for a while. I thought last night he did an excellent job of rematching an opponent that he struggled with and dominating them. Look, this is what good fighters do. Good fighters that have close fights early, they usually rematch them, dominate them, and continue on with their legendary careers. David Benavidez showed that last night. He showed he has the ability to come back and adjust and take the victory easily from his opponent. I love last night's boxing style that he had. The way he mixes it up, the combinations that this kid throws, I think he's going to be a real threat here in the super middleweight division. You got the likes of Gilberto Ramirez still on the outside, 2 undefeated Mexican fighters, one a very big power puncher who throws a lot in Gilberto Ramirez, and then you have David Benavidez, a clear-cut boxer puncher who likes to mix it up. Excellent two champions here we got on the outside of this World Boxing Super Middleweight Series going on. It's just fireworks at the super middleweight division right now. Loved everything about this David Benavidez kid.
There you go. Lastly, where are we? Cuba's Yorendis Ugas, 21-3, 10 KOs, stopped Philadelphia Ray Robinson in a IBF welterweight eliminator. An overhand right by Ugas in the opening round sent Robinson to the canvas, and he got up. Both fighters finished the round trading away. Things got wild at the end of round 4 as Robinson and Ugas traded. Robinson hit Ugas clearly after the bell, knocking him down. Referee Robert Byrd, who usually doesn't... What is Robert Byrd doing in Philadelphia? Deducted a point in the 7th round.
No, they were in Vegas. Remember, come on, Mandalay Bailey.
Sorry. I thought this fight was in Philadelphia. I didn't...
No.
I wasn't this early into the card like you. Robinson hit Ugas clearly after the bell, knocked him down. Robert Byrd deducted a point in the 7th round. Ugas dropped Robinson for the second time as he got up, but Ugas continued to attack. Referee Robert Byrd weighed the bout off at 105 of the 7th round. In another fight that I didn't watch on this fight card at all, nor did I even give two craps.
Yeah.
This was literally... They expected somebody like me. Okay, I'm a fight fan. I'm the target audience, right? You're going to give me a ticket for $50. I could sit in the lower bowl, but you're going to give me crap boxing. Like these two undercard fights, which I didn't watch. All I watched was...
Oh, you don't know the best of it. Wait until I tell you what this made this guy.
Go for it.
He is now the number 1 contender for the IBF welterweight title, which is held by Spence Jr. So they're saying that Spence is probably going to fight Ugas here in the next few months.
Great.
Yeah, right? All this talk about Spence.
It's the same old from the PBC.
Yep.
PBC, yep. I don't know why you guys support the PBC. Let's examine these 3 fights, okay? So for $50, you want me to go and buy a $100 hotel room, spend a couple $100 on dinner, I got to buy 2 tickets, take my date, go to the fight. So it's probably like, what, a $500-$600 weekend in Vegas on the cheap, right?
Yeah.
That's on the cheap, right? I know because I just went for Valentine's Day and I know what the expensive looks like. So let's say I go on the cheap. Or it's just me. Let's say I just go, right? I'll knock it down to $250 or $300. I'm just going up there for the fight. I'm going to stay in my crappy little secret hotel that I stay at. Do everything on the cheap. Couple $100 for the whole trip, right? And you want me to go in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and watch the bottom of your barrel fight Tubbas till I get to your televised card. The first fight I get is Ugas on the televised card. It's a crap fight. You want me to get to the Benavidez fight, which is this lopsided crap fight.
Yeah, Lee, that's a rematch of a Fight of the Year candidate.
Yeah, but it wasn't this time, was it?
You give Benavidez credit. That's what I talked about.
All right.
Good fighters, Lee, in the rematch usually dominate, and that's what that kid did. You got Lee. 6 months ago, we're all questioning Benavidez. He rematches the guy, dominates him. I actually thought Benavidez could have got the knockout if he would have stuck more to the body. He was throwing body shots the whole fight, but if he dedicated more to that body, I think he would have got Gavril out of there. But excellent rematch for Benavidez, so young in his career.
And then your main event is garbage.
The
main event was garbage.
You know, if you're a gambling degenerate, it's an awesome fight, right? Rios is in this thing, dude. Rios hurt Garcia. Rios had his moments in this fight. It was not a good look for Danny. Like I said, I'm going to give him a little leeway on rust and on the fact that I think he's trying to adapt a new style because he knows that he can't just stay behind the left when he gets to these bigger guys, these bigger names. But no, Rios is in it, man. The fight's getting close. The pressure. Rios was showing signs. He's just Lee. When you talk about a fighter who you say you can see has it doesn't look good, the end days for Brandon Rios. If I was Team Garcia, I think I would start talking to him about walking away from this sport. That's why he got knocked out last night. It was a Robert Guerrero moment. You got to remember,